What's up, guys? I have an interesting story for you today that I spotted the other day. South Australia announces incentive up to $6,400 for migrants. So let's just have a little look at this article and hopefully you guys can tell me in the comments if it's helpful or not. But it looks like, several states are offering financial assistance to attract more foreign workers to settle and work in regional areas. South Australia has joined the bandwagon. First and foremost, to join the bandwagon means to, jump on board, right? To do what others are doing. I've joined the bandwagon. In this case, as some of you may or may not be aware, in Australia we have a lot of migration. In fact, I think if you look at per capita, the number of people in Australia and compare it to the number of migrants we have, Australia takes in more migrants per capita than any other country in the world. Tell me if I'm wrong, I could be, but I'm pretty sure I saw that stat recently, which sort of blew my mind. Anyway, there are a lot of migrants who come to Australia, obviously, and they go to the big cities. They go to places like Brisbane, Sydney, Canberra, and Melbourne. And they put a lot of stress on these places. And this is one of those big things that a lot of Australians complain about is the number of migrants that are in these small areas, right? In these cities where there is infrastructure, but it was built in the past for a certain amount of people and it is starting to feel a lot of pressure. So this tends to be a common pattern, I think, in migration all over the world. When people migrate to a country, they tend to go to the big cities because they can get access to everything and they're more likely to come into contact with other migrants from their country as well. So this happens in Australia, that's no surprise, and the government has been trying to get people to move out of the cities, to encourage migrants to come into the cities and go out of the cities. Sorry, to come into the country and go out of the big cities. And so that's why we have different states in Australia now giving incentives to try and get migrants to go to regional areas. These are areas away from the cities, okay? So regional Victoria will be away from Melbourne in different regions of Victoria. Regional New South Wales will be away from Sydney in more areas that are further away from civilization, we'd say. So South Australia is now offering free schooling to the dependents of subclass 457 and 482 visa holders. So I guess that means that any children that come over with parents who have visas 457 and 482 will get free schooling. So previously to this, skilled workers with a subclass 457 visa or 482 visa were required to pay a student contribution fee. So they obviously had to pay a fee to the government to contribute in order to educate their children. And this was up to $5,300 for primary school students and $6,400 for high school students. However, it looks like South Australia's Education Minister, I'm not sure it was him, but they have waived that fee. So now, if you go to regional South Australia, as well as some other states that they've mentioned, I'm not sure if they mention those states in this article, I don't think they do. If you go there, you don't have to pay up to $6,400 to send your kids to school. So if you are listening to this, if you're watching this video and you are either in Australia or thinking about coming to Australia on a 457 or 482 visa, consider moving to regional areas if possible, because you could save quite a lot of money every year for your kids who are students as they go through school. So just another episode here, guys, that I thought I would add because it's obviously relevant for you as migrants in Australia, thinking about coming to Australia, and especially for those of you in South Australia who have children at primary school or high school and have to pay for these fees. Think about going to regional areas, as there may be incentives like this from the government where you could save quite a bit of money. Thanks for joining me, and I'll chat to you next time.